Good morning everybody, and welcome to Jim's 5 a.m. club. Today is a special day for me. It's my birthday and I turned 60. It's 5 o'clock. I'm on my way to work. I love working, and I've got some new Invisalign. So one of the benefits of the Invisalign is it's going to straighten my crooked teeth and also help me stop biting my nails. Anyway, today I'd like to talk to you about a story that happened many years ago at the wedding of my Kubari, Costa and Maria. And it was quite a profound moment for me because just after the wedding ceremony, when we went in to sign the documents, my Kuparo Costa is always a bit of a joker, and as we were sitting down and getting ready to sign and witness the wedding certificate, Costa says, I've lost my freedom, which we all chuckled, of course. It's one of those funny things that a groom normally says. And at that point, the priest who was presiding over the service, Father Stephen Scootus at St. Spiridon, said to Costa in a very serious and slow but precise voice, said to Costa, "Oh Costa, you haven't lost your freedom, but today you released yourself from the shackles of loneliness." After which he just went silent. And it took a few moments for that to sink in, but once it sank in, I said to myself, wow, how profound are those words. So when a person gets married or they find their soulmate, they lose their shackles to the tyranny of loneliness. And as I said, I sat and thought about it back then, and it really was quite a profound moment. I've been married coming up to almost 35 years now in October, and the time does go fast. Like, I can't even remember what's happened over the 35 years, or how those 35 years have just evaporated. But I remember speaking with my uncle Kathreptaki, Agilos Kathreptakis, back then, and he says that the biggest problem in a person's life is finding a soulmate. And when you do find that soulmate, he said, then that's when you can get on with life, because before that you're living in a state of preoccupation. Will I get married? Is there anybody out there? Will I have somebody to share the rest of my life with? And it's a big problem for all of us. And that once you do fall in love, during those courting stages and periods, that all you think about is your other partner. They are in your mind, in your head, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And there is an amount of anxiety that you experience, worrying that, it won't work out, worrying that somebody else is going to come and steal your partner, with those little jealousies that we have, who's she talking to, What's she thinking about? You know, will she want to marry me? Will she want to spend the rest of her days with me? And whilst I'm on that point, I do remember as a little boy, I was about 7 or 8 years old in Kingsgrove. I had a friend of mine, and I still remember his name. His name was Greg. Don't remember his surname, but Greg, who rode a motorcycle and used to be a customer at our shop there at Kingsgrove Road. And he was the first person who actually put me on the back of a motorcycle and just doubled me just for 100 meters, you know, back and forward. And I'll never forget that moment, sitting on the back of a motorcycle, holding on for grim life, where he just took me up to the, you know, from the street outside the shop, up to the laneway, turned around and came back. But that was enough for me to gain a love of motorcycling and wanting to one day grow up and have my own motorcycle. I was terrified, I remember, terrified. But I remember him one day saying that, you know, he was engaged and he was going to get married. And I still vividly remember that moment where I was in my parents' bedroom. My parents had left and gone to the shop, so I'd woken up and I was lying on their bed. Just went into their bedroom, I was lying on their bed. And I found my father's wedding band just on the bed next to, on the bedside table. And I picked it up and I was holding it and I was lying on my bed looking up at the ceiling, and the light was coming through the front window curtain, and I could see particles of dust just moving around in an orderly pattern. And I had one of those transcending sort of moments where I was holding my father's wedding ring, looking up at this dust and the light coming through the window, and saying to myself, thinking about Greg and the fact that he was getting married, how can anybody find somebody, that special somebody, and live the rest of their life with that one person? I just couldn't fathom it. I just couldn't fathom being with one person for the rest of your life. It was just so amazing for me. I also remember as a young boy, around about the same age, 7 or 8 years of age, picking daisies, because my parents had a daisy little patch in front of their house there at Kingsgrove, and picking daisies and just thinking to myself, because I had a lot of spare time to myself, being an only child and my parents working 7 days a week, and thinking to myself as I had the daisy and picking it, saying, she loves me not, she loves me, she loves me not, and saying to myself that there was somebody in the world that I was meant to be with, that I was meant to marry, and most probably she was alive because I was 8. So it's amazing how you have these thoughts as kids. And it was up to me to find her, or up to us to find each other. And how that was going to happen was a big challenge, and a big, wonderful challenge. But I remember having these deep conversations with myself and thoughts at a very young age. So the message to parents and to all of us is that never underestimate children, and just to respect the fact that children have very adult thoughts at a very young age. So I thought I'd share those stories with us and with you, because marriage and finding a partner and staying together is a very big deal. I was fortunate. My parents were married and stayed married My grandparents were married and lived their lives together, and I hope that my children also are fortunate to maintain their marriages. My mother, with all her wisdom, I still remember her saying this, and her views on marriage was that a person displays and shows to the world their IQ. They finally reveal their IQ to the world by the person they choose to marry. I remember my mother saying this, and we always used to laugh. And we all have these moments where you see somebody all of a sudden reveal who their boyfriend is, or reveal who their husband is, or the love of their life is. And in some cases you say, oh, you know, many. They're well suited to each other. But how many times do you say to yourself, how did that come about? How did that woman end up with that man? And you're just absolutely puzzled, because in your eyes. But only time tells, you know, who are meant to be together and who are meant not to be together. My father jokingly would always say, son, the first, sorry about the lisp, but I've got these Invisalign in, and it's a little bit tricky to talk sometimes. My father would always jokingly say, the first 20 years are the hardest, son, and then you get used to it. But marriage works for me. It has brought a constant into my life. I know that I've solved a massive problem in my life by finding the person who I'm sharing the rest of my life with. And it does bring me comfort, not having to worry about my tomorrow or my today. I've got a person who we have our ups and downs, and in many ways I always ask myself, you know, how is she still with me? But the miracle is that she still is, and I'm still with her, and I pray that we spend the rest of our days together, comforting each other, because indeed the toughest years are ahead of us. I've been very fortunate, and on my birthday I do thank God for being healthy at the age of 60, and having a healthy partner with me, and having healthy children and grandchildren. Anyway, that's my story for the day. Thank you for spending some time with me on this 5 a.m. club, this very, very special 5 a.m. club, where I look back over my life, and I'm very, very thankful. To Maria and Costa, I wish you guys good health, και να χαιρόσαστε την οικογένεια σας, and to stay in love, stay married, stay together, because marriage is a miracle, and in the right hands it is pleasurable. But I do acknowledge that not all marriages, or not all people are called to marriage, and not all marriages are designed to last. So for those who are no longer married, I hope that you do find your partner to spend the rest of your life with, and for all of us to live in harmony, and to not live in pain or distress or anxiety. Anyway, on a good note, it's my birthday. I turned 60 today, and for me, life starts at 60. And wishing everybody a great rest of the week. And once again, I'd like to celebrate today by saying I am alive, I am well and I feel great. Take care and we'll chat again. Yasas.